This is the Chefpreneur podcast, where we inspire professional cooks to take on greater risk to build a personal chef business for themselves. Now, here's your host, Andres Hinojosa.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Chefpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Andres Hinojosa. Thank you so much again for tuning in today. I appreciate you guys with all your support for this podcast. Again, please subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play Music, any other podcast apps that you guys use out there as well. We're on Spotify. So just make sure you find us, subscribe to us. Tune into this podcast every week. We love bringing you great content, and it just makes us really happy that we're helping so many of you really start your own business and take control of your life by being your own boss. So thank you so much again. We always like to start off every podcast, as if this is your first time joining us today, we like to start off every podcast with a question from one of you all. And this one actually comes from Natasha Hawkins, and she's in our Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group. And if you haven't joined that Facebook group yet, please join it. It's free. It's 100% free. And it's just, we're trying to build a community in there where we help each other out to start your own business and just really build a personal chef business that you could be proud of. And it's a private group, or it's a closed group, but it's free to join. So you just have to fill out a small questionnaire and join it. So if you go over to Facebook and search the Chefpreneur Movement, you'll see that group, and please join it. So her question, Natasha's question is, this is probably in alignment with your teaching, she says, but I was asked to cater a retreat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and what is the best way to charge? So I just got done teaching our week number 5 of our masterclass today of the Chefpreneur program, and we went over actually setting your income goals and pricing your services. And so this question is right up my alley. Obviously, I get asked this quite a bit, especially when people are starting out, or you all starting out your own business. It's hard to figure out pricing because you feel a little bit, you don't feel sometimes as confident with it, right? Because we do teach in the program how to build your business from the ground up, which gives you a whole nother level of confidence, so that when you price your services, you know that you're sticking to your prices and you're not budging for anyone. Again, you can still obviously give people custom quotes and discounts and things like that, but you have a bigger sense of confidence. So to answer your question directly, Natasha, one of the 3 pointers I can give to you was, number 1, always pass on the grocery cost to the client. Okay, do not do anything inclusive of the groceries, because it's just so hard to figure that out. If you start giving them a price per day or even a price per head for the whole retreat, and they want you to include groceries in that cost, it's going to be difficult. There's going to be some nights where it's going to be more expensive and other nights where it's not going to be as expensive. And it makes it easier on the client if you just say, hey, I'm charging you on top of it for groceries. And this way, there's no questions about that. And they don't have to do all this, math in their head. They know that you bought this amount of groceries and here's the receipt and you can reimburse me. Okay. Number 2, I would say definitely if you're going to charge for kind of something that's going on where they want breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it is okay to charge a daily rate according to how many people it is. I don't know how many people the retreat is for, but realistically, you can charge a flat rate price, meaning that, let's say it's for 10 people, the retreat is for 10 people, and it's for, 3 days. You might charge $1,200 or $1,000 per day plus the cost of groceries. So just make sure you're charging them either a price per person per day or some sort of a flat rate pricing for the day. Depending on how many people it is, you can definitely look at that, when you're trying to give them that per day pricing. But again, it's just making it easy for the client. So for instance, if you were saying, okay, it's going to be $1,000 per day for my services, and I'm estimating that the groceries will be about $350 a day, then, you're saying, okay, it'll be $1,000 plus the $350 per day, times 3 or times 4, or how many ever days that the retreat is for. Okay. And then the third thing that I would suggest doing is that when you're doing an event like this, depending on how many people it is, you want to definitely as well factor in if you're going to need any help. So I don't know if you're doing this on your own or not, but again, when you're pricing your services, you don't want to tell them that this is the price, without help or with help. You don't say that. Again, going back to that daily or price per person per day, or however you want to do the flat rate pricing, you just want to make sure you're including your cost of someone actually helping you if you need the help for the retreat. And then it's kind of a good upsell when you're selling it to the client, because then you're just kind of like, yeah, that includes me and my assistant or 2 chefs or however you want to word it. And it makes them feel a little more secure that they're going to get, really a great experience for the retreat, and make making them feel like, they're going to get all eyes on them. They're going to get 100% of your attention. So I hope that helps, Natasha. Hey, if you guys have questions, again, you could please join our free Facebook movement group where we talk about everything about personal chef businesses and how to help you start yours. And you can join that group again. If you go to Facebook, type in the Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group, basically is there. You can post your questions there, or you can definitely email us at podcast@chefpreneurprogram.com. You can email your questions directly to us, and we'd love to answer them for you. So thank you again. Keep those questions coming. We love to answer them, and we like to give you guys that great content. So today we're going to dive right into today's podcast, and it's titled The 3 Stages of Selling Your Personal Chef Services, okay? This is something that's been kind of close to my heart because I think not just in the personal chef industry, but in any business, I guess you would say, there's always different points there's a sales process per se, right? And I believe that, there's so many different people out there telling you how to sell your services as well as or I shouldn't say selling your services. There's a lot of people out there telling you how to sell, period, right, in a business. But I don't think there's anybody specifically out there teaching you how to sell personal chef services, right? Most of the time it gets overlooked, right, because you're dealing with a personal chef business and it's a very personal thing, number one. And it's usually yourself, right? You're usually a solopreneur. Again, we call them chefpreneurs, but you're basically by yourself. Most of the time, that's what you're doing. You're the one running the business. You're the one cooking. You're the one answering emails, answering the phone, the whole 9 yards. And so, it's hard for us to sometimes think when we're just being an individual in our business to create processes and procedures and systems on how to better sell our services. And I was just speaking to somebody today about joining the program. And again, if you haven't scheduled a 30-minute consultation phone call with me, you could definitely go to chefpreneurprogram.com/application-page, and we'll put those in the show notes as well. And you could definitely schedule a 30-minute consultation with me. Again, there's no commitment. It's completely free, but I like having these conversations with you guys because what it does is enables me to talk to you about the program and personally, as well as get to know where you're at. And, if you've started a business already and you need help growing it, or if you're looking to start and you're just right at the beginning stages and you're just doing research, it doesn't matter. I love to connect with you guys. And I was talking to this gentleman this morning, and he already has a business. He's had a business since, I believe, 2016 for about 3 years. And he's doing about 1 to 2 events a month, which is okay. But the thing is, the first question I asked him, well, what was your process for booking clients? What's your process for selling your services? And he really didn't have an answer for me. He said that he thought his processes were down and he had those down pat, but realistically, it didn't sound like he did. We looked at his website, so I asked him his website over the phone. I looked at it, and again, all these types of things are part of these 3 stages I'm going to talk to you about today, and because it's really, really important. So I want to first start out with a metaphor for you, okay? So picture this. Let's say that there's a storefront, doesn't matter whatever city, let's just pretend that there's a grocery store, okay? Now, the first stage of any business is obviously the first part of it is that you need customers, right? You need people to come to the store. Now, there's a couple different things. The way the store looks like on the outside and the way it speaks to customers walking by down the street and, walking by this grocery store every day really is going to say a lot about what's inside the store, right? Pretty common or pretty basic knowledge, right? This is pretty much common sense, right? So let's just say you're walking in downtown San Diego, which I live here in San Diego, and you see a store. And the store says, JoJo's Electronics or whatever it could be. Well, clearly you're already thinking, well, this place is going to sell electronics, right? Now, judging from the outside, judging from the name of the store or the name of the business in the store and so forth and so on, you're really going to start to see a certain amount of people be interested in coming to the store and walking by and saying, oh, there's an electronics store there, right? Now, if you didn't have any signs on the store and you didn't have anything, there was no letters, no nothing, it was just some black, windows and a black door or whatever, and there was no name over the banner, nothing like that, do you think anybody's really going to walk into the store? No. Right? So number one, the first stage is you have to be able to have something that's going to attract, and that's called messaging. The right way to attract clients is with the proper messaging. Now, as a personal chef, So going now to a personal chef, we'll return to the metaphor of the store here in a minute. Let's go back to being a personal chef, right? In your business as a personal chef, you don't have a quote unquote literal storefront, physical storefront. Okay, your storefront is going to be your website. It's a digital storefront. It's a place where someone can go to basically walk inside your store of a personal chef store in a way, right? I know it sounds kind of goofy, but that's kind of what it is. You don't have a physical building. You don't have a storefront to sell out of. Your website is your storefront. Now picture this. A lot of people could come to your website, right? They can click off of Yelp, they can click off of Thumbtack, they can click off of a Google search and go to your website, okay? But if they're looking for something and your website doesn't speak to them, just like a grocery store, just like the store in the physical would not speak to anybody, and there's no lettering, there's no messaging, there's nothing on the outside, right? In fact, all they put was a bunch of pictures of TVs, right? In the grocery, at the store, or at this grocery store or electronic store or whatever we want to call it, right? You might get an idea, well, maybe they have something to do with TVs, but you still don't know if it's a TV repair place or if they're selling TVs or if they just like pictures of TVs and they're putting them in the windows. I don't know, right? You don't know, and that's part of the confusion that you're putting out to the potential customers. And so when your website's not speaking to anybody, they'll go to your website, but then they'll leave right away. It's as simple as that. Just like if someone would go up to this store and say, "Oh, I thought this grocery store was here, but it's clearly something with TVs, and it's not what I need. I need groceries," and they walk away without ever stepping into your store. So how do they really know if you have what they need as far as what they want to buy? They don't. Okay, so stage one is getting the messaging right on your storefront, aka your website, right, to be able to attract the right clients and attract the right people. Now, stage two is what happens when they walk into the store, right? There has to be a process in the store, right? And that process is probably the most important piece of the entire puzzle, right? Because, and I've said this to many of you over our 30-minute consultations over the phone, that if there's 1,000 people walk into that store, but nobody buys anything, is that store doing good? No, they're not. Now, let's say there's a store right next door and they have 100 people walk into their store and 50 of them buy something. Is that store doing good? Absolutely. That store is doing way better because they've actually made 50 sales as opposed to your store or someone else's store that didn't make any sales but had 1,000 people walk through the door. Okay, so that's step two, is the process inside the store to get them to buy something, right? Now, stage three is actually getting them to buy the product, right? Which comes down to when they buy, the actual sales process that you're actually getting them to pay you money, right? The actual process of the actual exchange of money from their hands to your hands. Okay, so these are the three stages of any business. Now, again, I'm going to revert back to a personal chef business. So your website is your storefront. They come to your website. If the messaging is not speaking to them, then nobody's going to care about you and nobody's going to listen to you. They're not going to click on the button and they're not going to contact you for services. Now, the second stage in the same scenario is if it does attract them enough and they want to do business with you, what's the process of them doing business with you? The process starts on your website, and if the process is not clear, they're going to leave. Period. It's as simple as that. They're not going to buy anything. But once they actually put an inquiry on your website and you get that, then how are you going to sell them the service? How are you physically going to get them to be a paying customer? So these are the three stages. Stage number one, bringing people to your storefront, aka bringing people to your website and to your business page, your web page, for your personal chef services. Stage two, right? It's actually the process of how they're going to be able to contact you and be able to go inside your store and peruse and look around. Is your website easy to navigate? Is it accessible? Is it easy for them to use? And then stage three, what's the actual sales process that if they say, hey, I want to buy something, they put an inquiry on your website. Do you have a sales process that ensures you the highest chance of them hiring you? Okay. Now, I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper. I just wanted to explain those three stages, okay? And the reason why I'm saying that the stage two is the most important part, and also stage three, the actual sales, more than how many people you get to the store, is because, again, like we said, if there's a lot of people walking on the street and seeing the store and nobody walks in, it doesn't really matter. So your messaging has to be accurate. But in the middle of it, once you actually have someone reach out to you, the process of you taking them down a path, down a journey of doing, of explaining your service to them, figuring out what they would like, figuring out how you can serve them, giving them a world-class experience through your emails, through your phone call, through everything, that is actually going to set you above and actually give you an increased chance of them hiring you. It's as simple as that, right? And that's what's most important. I don't think there's anyone else out there teaching how to sell your personal chef services. There really is not. And so many of you are so focused on how do I get more traffic to my website? How do I get more people to like my Facebook page? How do I get more people to follow me on Instagram? And all that stuff does have some benefits. But I have personally never been hired off my Facebook page nor my Instagram account. And I've done $250,000 in revenue last year. Okay. And again, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that this is the truth. I didn't get it from Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or LinkedIn or any of those places. I got it from my website, but the inquiry that came in through my website, the clients were able to find my website. They were able to understand what I do, what I offer on my website. It was easy for them to contact me by clicking a big button saying book now, right? And then when they went through that process of actually putting an inquiry, on the flip end, I had an amazing process of how I sold them my services. And I've mentioned it on this podcast before that my actual close rate, 94.2% is my close rate right now in my personal chef business. That means pretty much 9 people out of 10, almost 9.5 people out of 10 people will book me if I get them on the phone with me for a scheduled phone call. Okay. Now, I could be a really good salesman, but you know what? Here's another caveat, just to make a little side note, okay? People think that sales are sleazy. People think, some of you might think, I don't like to be pushy. I don't like to be all that. And we're not asking you to be pushy, but let me give you an example. Let me tell you the truth. If you had the cure to cancer, okay, if you had the cure to cancer, would you not want to advertise or publicly announce that you have the cure to cancer? Would you not want to sell that cure to as many people as possible? And let's even forget the money. Forget if it's quote unquote selling, but you're always, even when you're giving away something for free, you're still selling it in a way, right? You still have to get somebody to take it and accept it. And let's say wouldn't you want that to be sold? Wouldn't you want to sell that idea or give that antidote for cancer to everyone in the world? Of course you would. And your services, you have to first start by understanding the services that you provide are a cure to someone's cancer. Someone's looking for your services, whether it's weekly meal preparations and someone's, battling diabetes, or they have some health concerns, or they're wanting to lose weight. I spoke with a potential Chefpreneur program student the other day that she really wants to start, really making an impact in her community, which is amazing. I mean, she has such a great mission, and I hope I see her in the program. But it's like, you're wanting to sell this to her community. She should not feel ashamed about selling her services. If her services can truly help people live healthier lives, then that would be great. If your services can truly make a memorable birthday or anniversary or engagement party for a client, don't you deserve to sell it to them? Aren't you obligated to sell them something that's going to benefit their life? Yes. So the first thing you have to understand is you need to get rid of this clout. I know I'm not wanting to get off subject, but now I feel like I want to park on the sales side of it, because a lot of us have mental stipulations in our mind that think that sales are bad. Yes, there's plenty of salespeople out there that are only just trying to make money off the sell, right? But realistically, even most salespeople cannot wake up every morning and sell something they don't believe in, or sell something that they know is a bad product. And that's just really because it doesn't benefit them and it doesn't benefit anybody else. They're going to actually probably not have a sales job soon if they're really selling a really crappy product. Let me just be honest with you. So you need to understand that sales is not a bad thing, right? In fact, we owe it to our clients to sell them our services, because if you truly believe that you can do a good job, that you can help them, that you can make their life happier, more exciting, if you can help them, get healthier or take care of family meals every night instead of them doing it because they're so busy with work. If you're able to do all the work for them so they can enjoy the time that matters most with the people they love, wouldn't you want to sell them your services? Think about it. You need to get over this fear of sales. You need to get over this fear that, oh, I don't want to be salesy. You don't have to be quote unquote a sleazy salesman, but you need to really have confidence and believe that your product is good and that your product can benefit someone's life. It's as simple as that. And so getting back to these 3 stages, you need to understand that as you sell your services, it's all about the client. It's all about what they want, not what you want. And everything from your website, which is aka your store, every time that they walk into your store, is it easy for them to access? Is it easy for them to contact you? Is it easy for them? Imagine if they were in your store and it was so crowded, they were trying to say, hey, I want to buy something over here, and there was no salespeople on the floor, and the only person working in the entire store was the person just at the checkout stand. What good would that be anybody? If there's no one to ask questions, if there's no one to show you, hey, what aisle is the cheese on, right? In a grocery store, it's like, if you can't find those people, it frustrates you, right? If you're in a clothing store and you're asking, the employee, hey, where do I find the men's section? If there's no one there to ask, it's really, really annoying. And most of the time you're going to look around and you're like, man, I can't even find a check stand. I can't even pay for this item that I want. I found this shirt that I love. I can't even pay for it. So think about it. People are coming to your website. If you've already started your business, people are probably coming to your website. And if it's not easy to navigate and it's not speaking to them, they're trying to figure out how to contact you. They're trying to figure out, hey, I want to contact you, but I don't know. It's kind of complicated. I'm just going to go somewhere. And they leave your website. They walk out of the store. And that's very detrimental. And most of you that have started your own personal chef business already are probably dealing with a lack of customers. And you're probably thinking, hey, chef, I just need more leads. I need more leads. I need more people to come to my website. I need more website traffic. Well, the truth is, if you can get more, you can get 1 million people to your website. But again, if your website's not speaking to anybody and it's not easy to use, all 1 million of those people are going to leave. You might get lucky and get one person to click on some links and find your contact little link that you have buried on the bottom of your website. And I'm not trying to make or offend anybody here, but it's the truth. So you need to look at these 3 processes, right? And once they actually then contact you, what is your process to book the event? You need to take them down a journey. You need to act as if you're physically holding their hand, taking them down step by step, a journey of doing business with you. And if you don't know how to do that and you don't have a process in place, you're going to lose out. Because let's say even 10 people contact you through your website. So you're saying, Chef, I got my website. It's speaking. The messaging is great. I'm getting 10 to 15 inquiries a month on my website. And if I ask you how many of those are actually booking you and you say, oh, well, 2, then you're doing something wrong. Your process for actually taking them down a path and taking them, holding their hand, walking them through the process of booking you is wrong. And you're not doing it right, I'm sorry to say, because you should be nailing down at least 50%. Now, I don't know about you guys with your numbers. I mean, my number is 94.2%. It's pretty high. But at the same time, I only know my own numbers. I don't know your numbers. I don't know your sales metrics in that sense. But if you're only booking half or less than half or whatever of your events, you're doing something wrong, my friend. I truly believe that. Because there has to be a process in place on how to make your customer the hero, you the guide, and you really holding their hand, walking them through it, making them feel super confident to book with you. In fact, in the program, we teach you this process to a T. We even give you a sales script of what to say over the phone that allows me to nail down 94% of the people I talk to end up booking with me. And I give you everything that I know, and I give you a step-by-step blueprint because I believe this is the single biggest thing that you can do for your business. I was just recently speaking today with Michelle, which is my first beta student ever in the program. And I told her, she's like, you know what, Chef, I'm working on more strategic partnerships. She had a question about that, and I kind of just clarified a couple of things for her. She was a little bit in her head at one point, but I told her, listen, you have everything built now. You have your website that's attractive, that has the right messaging, that's ready to rock and roll. You have your back-end processes that I taught you, the email templates I've given you, the sales script, how to talk to them on the phone, what are the right things to say, what you should not say on the phone, all the things that you need to learn. I taught her, so I said, said, now the easy part is, now how many people how do you bring more people to your website storefront? Now how do you bring more people? Because you know that the rest of the stuff is going to do its own work, right? If you bring more people to the website, now your website's speaking to them, more people will contact you. It's easy for them to contact you. You'll get more inquiries. And then on the back end, you'll have a better process on how to actually sell your services to them and then get them to literally take out their wallet, take out their money and pay you. It's as simple as that. And a lot of times I've gotten so good at my sales process on stage 3 that realistically, sometimes they're willing to give me a deposit. We haven't even talked about the menu, and I have never even spoken about the price. And they're already asking me if I need their credit card. This is how powerful this stuff is. So if you feel like you're in a personal chef business, you've had a personal chef business and you've started one, you're in one, or you're trying to even grow it, you feel like you're hitting a couple walls, I want to schedule a phone call with you. I want to be able to hop on the phone and just give you a 30-minute consultation and see where you're at in your business and how I can help you. Because in our program, we teach every step that I'm telling you today. We teach you how to have your website be more effective, more attractive, have the right messaging. We teach you the internal side of it when they walk in your store, how to get them to be able to access you and easily contact you, and what you should have them do for you to then do the third leg of it, which is to actually sell them the service. And I actually recommend doing that over the phone, that you sell them over the phone, that you schedule a phone call with them. And I teach you what to say in that phone call. And honestly, I will almost personally guarantee you that your sales and your increase of the amount of events you book will highly go up from where you are right now. Because people need this process. They want to be taken down a journey. They want to be taken down a path. And I teach you this in this program, and we teach it very extensively. In fact, I believe that this portion of the program, which we teach in week 7, 8, and 9, I believe that those 3 weeks of my masterclass are worth the price of the program alone. And again, I'm just letting you guys know the truth. I really do believe that this can help so many of you that are stuck in your personal chef businesses, or if you've thought about starting one and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do things wrong. I've been scared. I don't want to start because I'm so afraid of failing. Let me guide you. Let me help you. Let me hold your hand, take you down the journey to set up your business right. And I believe together we can crush your business and make it so good and double your business this year. I truly believe that that's possible with following the things that I teach, because I learn them from first point of view. I learn them first person. These are the things I do in my business every single day, and they produce results. Hey, I hope that this podcast really helped you. It really inspired you. I hope that you got something out of it today. So thank you guys so much again. Listen, we are here to motivate, educate, and inspire you all to really take a stand for your personal freedom and break the chains of a kitchen job, just over broke job, and build your own empire. We believe that the future is in your own hands, and you can really put it back in your own hands. If it's not in your own hands right now, we believe that you can take your future, put it in your own hands. We truly believe that. Hey, sign up for our free web class. We have a free web class where we teach you how to start your own personal chef business for $500 or less without quitting your job. And if you just go over to the chefpreneurwebinar.com. That's the chef, Preneur, webinar.com. You can sign up for free. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you just go to YouTube, search Chefpreneur, all one word, Chef, Preneur. Find us there. Also, again, make sure you sign up for our free Facebook group, the Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group, where again, you can ask questions and be a part of a community of other like-minded chefs that are always looking to grow their business and again, take that stand for their personal freedom. So this is Andres Hinojosa signing off. Can't wait to talk to you guys next week. Take care. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Chefpreneur podcast, where we want to educate, motivate, and inspire as many chefs to become their own boss. Please subscribe to the podcast and join us every week to be part of the movement. To sign up for our free online web class, visit thechefpreneurwebinar.com.